Well, there's some great news. I was about to do the video talking about King Andy Brashear in Kentucky saying that there will be no singing in churches and no gathering of people. But last night, I think a Baptist church in Kentucky sued the governor for a injunction, whatever any of that means, and a federal judge ruled that they will be allowed to have church immediately, starting immediately. Because why? Because our Constitution states that there can be no laws made against the church. None. Zero. You can't do it. That's the point of separation of church and state. They can't do it. But they've been trying. And so, since that was the reason my channel was demonetized, apparently, because I was standing up for these churches, I figured, heck, I better do some more videos about it. So, Brother Spell in Baton Rouge is still on house arrest. So y'all keep him in your prayers. And I'm sure he's going up to the federal level, and we're going to see what happens with that. But even if you're not Christian, this is great news all around. This means that people are standing up and saying, take 6 feet and shove it. It's a funny song. I'm going to upload that in a minute. No, seriously. But, that crazy Andy Brashear, that little paper tiger of a girly man, thinks that he is the ultimate ruler. He actually, I didn't even realize this. That they have, they have different rules in every state, but they had sent home all of their city employees, saying they were non-essential, and so he is essentially completely in charge of the entire state with no checks and balances. That's why he's been acting like a complete crazy dictator. That's not going to go well. Actually, I think that might be what my governor's doing here in Louisiana, because they're having some rally thing today with taking the executive powers away from our governor for acting like a crazy person. So we'll see how that goes. I mean, these people are just, they've lost their minds. They got a little taste of that power, and you know how man in general is whenever they have power. They abuse it, and it usually turns ugly. And for those silly people that still want to try to use Romans 13, go to my video I did a couple days ago about Romans 13 and how you're absolutely misquoting it and you don't know what you're talking about. It's actually funny. I was going through some things that liberal atheists and all of this have every single time something happens with conservatives, they automatically go find a Bible verse to push. And that's not how the Bible works. It's not really how it works at all. You can't just go find one, and you surely can't just go find one in the NIV, NLT, or any of these other contrived versions of the Bible. You have to read the context, and just go to my other video. I explain why you as an atheist cannot understand all of the aspects of what all scripture says. I'm not calling you dumb. And it's good that they're reading the Bible, but unfortunately they're only reading it for nefarious reasons, just to find things to whatever. Hashtag Romans 13. Like, get out of here. You don't even know what you're saying. Let me summarize. If you're saying that Romans 13 is what you should be using as this, then you're also saying that Hitler was ordained by God. That Mao and Stalin and friggin' whoever, Junpeng, what's his name? In North Korea, all of these people are ordained by God, and that's not the fact. It was specifically written to the Romans, but I'm not going to get into that. I got into it in the other video. But this is great news. Thought it was going to be terrible news. Well, it still is, because think about it. The man still, in his heart, wants churches done with, as do many other states. And we know their next move. This has shown the true colors of both sides, the left and the right, because they're both doing it in multiple aspects. They've showed their hand. So if we gave them even just that little bit of emergency powers, they can't handle it. They go overboard. This is what a responsible local leader should do. They should say, okay, we're going to delegate these powers to the lowest level possible. Because what's going on in New Orleans is not the same thing going on in my small town. They are 3 hours away from each other. Or in any state. What's going on in the capital is very likely not the same atmosphere as every small town. That's why we have mayors. That's why we have the structure that we have. And all that disgusting Venezuela socialist crazy that y'all love to say, what if you lived in Venezuela? Look at their socialists. Actually, that's exactly what they've done. They've ensured that everything is handled at the lowest level possible. The lowest level possible. The state governors, and then think about how small they are, and yet they still do that. It'd be easy to rule over as a dictator of a country like Venezuela, but that's not what he's doing. That's just what they want to make him out to be. That's not what he's doing. They even have local volunteer committees that go in and, it's amazing. And yeah, I might move there if I learn Spanish. But everything we've been told about Venezuela is a bunch of ludicrous nonsense. And if you haven't seen my Venezuela PSYOP videos, please look at that playlist, because it's extremely important, especially with what just happened recently, where we tried another coup that completely failed. Utter failure. And it's hilarious for them to even try to talk about, that socialist dictator Maduro. At the same time, they are treating us like this is a communist country right now. Like, how hypocritical is it? It's beyond me. It's laughable. That's why I haven't even done a video about it yet, because it's just so ridiculous. And they just are utterly failing at every turn, because sometimes the good does win in the end. And when you do act like a dictator, you will have your powers taken away from you. And that's what people need to realize. This isn't left versus right. This isn't R versus D. This isn't white versus black versus brown versus anything. This is us versus them. The elites think that they can run everything with some iron fist that they think they have power over, because they've got their big pharma lobbying money and their big oil lobbying money and all of these things, and they go and say nice things in public and then do completely opposite. But now we see their true colors. And we need to remember this. And we need to do something about this. But anyway, I'm going to leave y'all on that. It's a great news. Wasn't bad news as I expected. So I'm going to Texas today and seeing what's going on out there. See if it doesn't matter. I'm not gonna say what we're doing. I'm gonna see what's going on out there. But anyway, y'all have a wonderful day. Like, share, and subscribe. Bye, guys. Oh, and don't forget, my channel is demonetized. So if you can help with anything, links will be in the comments.